Welcome to Saigon, raw and real. 12 million people, 10 million motorbikes. It's pure chaos. On the map is Ho Chi Minh City. On the streets, it's still Saigon, Vietnam's wild, beating heart. Hanoi may be the capital, but Saigon runs the show. It's Vietnam's economic engine. Most of the country's businesses, trade, and money flows through here. This city works hard and fast. We begin at the Vietnam War Museum, a powerful, confronting place. It focuses heavily on civilian suffering and the horrors of war, napalm victims, Agent Orange, executions, mass graves. The exhibits are graphic and intense. Some call it necessary truth. Others say it's state-sponsored propaganda, presenting America and the South as monsters, while the North are heroes. It was originally called the Exhibition House for Crimes of War and Aggression. The name changed, but not the message. It's not a balanced take, but it's a side often left out. Don't bring children, it's way too graphic. And don't rush. Some of the images demand a moment of silence. A grim colonial prison sits to the side, guillotine and all. We leave the museum finally understanding why Vietnam turned out the way it did. Motorbikes are 90% of the traffic. It's like swimming in a school of fish. No lanes, lights are suggestions, and honking just means, hey, I'm here. This street holds a shrine to a monk who burned himself in protest. They say his heart didn't burn, and it's now kept as a holy relic. Powerful, unsettling moment. Next stop, a narrow house in a quiet Saigon alley. It looks normal, but during the war, it hid grenades, guns, and explosives. Vietcong agents posed as tailors and shopkeepers, smuggling weapons piece by piece. Beneath the tiled kitchen floor, a concrete, reinforced hidden cellar, perfectly disguised. A deep cover operation right under the South Vietnamese government's nose. Saigon's full of French colonial gems. The Notre Cathedral and the Central Post Office stand out. The post office feels European. Iron beams, arched windows, painted maps, wooden phone booths, and a giant portrait of Ho Chi Minh at the back. This area is stunning, and it's one of the rare spots where the city actually slows down. Motorbikes rule here. Families of 4, plus a dog. People are carrying fridges, food, you name it. Grab bike? It's Uber, but on 2 wheels. We're traveling 45 miles outside the city to explore the Cu Chi tunnels. Built by the Vietcong fighters during the war, just beyond Saigon's reach. These are the traps, simple, handmade, and terrifyingly smart. Each one meant to injure or take out enemy soldiers with cruel precision. This wasn't just a tunnel. It was a whole city underground, over 155 miles long. Fighting, sleeping, even surgery happened here. The jungle above got bombed non-stop, so they simply vanished beneath it. He's like a soldier that can't, American soldier that can't get in. Yeah, you've seen this shot in every Saigon video, classic Facebook, and Instagram photo spot. Sarko, don't try it. The tunnels were about survival. The Vietcong couldn't win head on, so they went underground, literally. Guerrilla tactics, local cover, brains over brawn. Here, the underdog story isn't a movie plot, it's real. And let's face it, people everywhere love a good story where the small guy fights back and actually survives. You hear the gunfire the moment you step off the bus, constant through the whole visit. Up close, the sound is deafening. To tell you the truth, I find it tacky. Firing war weapons at a memorial, it misses the entire point. It says holding all the bags. Okay, so right now we're going into the fighting bunker, and for the tourists, they made it 20% bigger to give you an idea. You had to be extremely small to be able to get down into these tunnels to fight. Very tight. Some sections are only 32 inches high and 24 inches wide. Not great for claustrophobics or big guys like Zarko.
Did you like the tapioca?
Yeah, the tapioca is very starchy. He said that's what they live on here.
What they live on? A little bit like
That's what they live on. Underground was home. They even cooked down there. Now we're heading back to the city. Walking across the street feels like a death wish. They told us, walk slowly, don't stop, and don't panic. The bikes will just move around you. Locals do it effortlessly. Even grandmas walk through like they've got a shield on. It's still scary as hell.
Good price. Good price.
Another must-do tour in Saigon is the Mekong Delta Island trip. Every tourist ends up here. The islands have real names, but for us tourists, they're called Dragon, Phoenix, Unicorn, and Tortoise. And now, we're crossing the river in a classic wooden long-tail boat. Slow, steady, and just bumpy enough to keep things interesting. We're on the Mekong Delta River, and our first stop is Unicorn Island. They call it a honeybee farm, but there's just one hive for show. A quick demo, a few words, and that's the whole farm experience.
They're small bees.
Extremely small.
Nothing like what we have in.
And dark.
Yeah, it's okay.
Run it down,
It's okay.
and we're gonna get to try the honey. Looks like she put some sesame seeds in the honey
Honey tea.
honey tea. Oh, okay. With dried bananas and ginger. Wow. Look at those little tiny limes. Kumquats. Oh, really?
They were lime too.
Oh, wow. Ooh, it's really good. Yeah, honey tea. Delicious. They say it's authentic Mekong life, but it feels more like a tourist setup. The hammock crowd? They're the boat rowers, just waiting for the next round of visitors. Doesn't feel genuine, more like a show. Very interesting island. It's hard to expect a genuine experience when there's waves of tourists showing up every day. Still, I'm curious, and we chose to enjoy it as it's presented. No complaints, just perspective. We sit down to taste a mix of local tropical fruits, sip some tea, and listen to traditional Vietnamese music. There's live singing, a little dancing, but the music's not really quite our style. It's all about the experience. It's a nice show, and it gives us a glimpse into the local culture. You pick up a thing or two about how people live, what they enjoy, and how they share it with curious travelers like us. Now, this is the high point of the island tour. We sit in a narrow wooden canoe, a local man in a conical hat, gently paddling through a shady canal. It's really quiet. And it's lined with water palms. It's quiet, peaceful, like drifting through a nature documentary. The ride lasts just 10 to 15 minutes, but it's one of those short, sweet moments that stick. We're back on the river, surrounded by boats just like ours, drifting through the muddy Mekong waters. We're heading to the next island stop on the tour. We're on Coconut Island.
Yeah.
And we're gonna try coconut candy, right?
Yep.
Now this feels more authentic. A family-run coconut candy workshop. Sure, it's still touristy, but the production here is the real deal. We watched the whole process. Coconuts cracked open, meat shredded, and boiled to malt syrup. The mixture's poured into molds, cooled, sliced, and wrapped by hand. It's simple, traditional, and it's still very much alive. You can smell the sweetness in the air, and it's actually kind of satisfying to see something still made the old school way. Free samples? Of course. They're sticky, sweet, and impossible to resist. Then, surprise, you're walking out with a couple of bags, one for the road and one to take back home. Look at that one, the scorpions. Oh my God. Oops.
Is that honey?
Yeah, try some.
Ugh. Wouldn't you get poisoned drinking that kind of stuff? Wouldn't that poison you?
Alcohol with snakes and scorpions inside? It's not your everyday drink.
Okay. I don't think that's a good idea. You want to survive the rest of the trip?
Guys, if you drink it, we will not sympathise with you, will we? We're not going to say we're not. You're going to suffer on your own.
Oh, none of it's mine.
Riding around in those makeshift tuk-tuks, basically truck beds with seats, was surprisingly one of the best parts of the day. Cruising down narrow village roads, seeing everyday rural life, the quiet beauty of the countryside, it feels real.
Too close.
It's just a slice of how people live out here. Simple, peaceful, and genuinely memorable. The lunch spot? A massive chaotic setup. Food sitting out forever in brutal heat. To tell you the truth, I'd rather skip the meal than gamble with food poisoning. Now that was an easy and safe decision for me. There was at least 20 boats, 20 groups, and they had even more tables ready for the next wave. Saigon doesn't sleep. It just changes tempo. At night, the roar of motorbikes turns into bass beats, neon lights, and clinking beer bottles. Bien Street is still calm now, but soon it'll be wild, loud music, cheap beer, people dancing, shots from buckets, girls with snake tattoos. Not really our scene. We prefer the local hangouts. Less flash, more flavor. Places where people sit, talk, and drink beer like it's a shared ritual, not a wild party. It's social, real, and way more our speed. That's it for Vietnam. Next up, Phnom Penh, Cambodia. It's a city we didn't expect much from, but it really caught us off guard, in a good way. See you there.